Have you ever considered how one individual could alter the course of history and inspire millions worldwide? Nelson Mandela, a name synonymous with courage, resilience, and freedom, did just that. Known for his relentless pursuit of equality, he dedicated his life to dismantling apartheid in South Africa. The question is, how did he change the world? What ripples were created from his actions that still resonate today? So, let us embark on a journey through time to understand the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in Vezo, South Africa, a place far removed from the political turmoil he would later confront. His early life was steeped in tradition and education. Raised in a rural village, Mandela was groomed from a young age to counsel tribal leaders as part of his Thembu heritage. However, the seeds of his political consciousness were sown at Fort Hare University, where he was exposed to diverse ideas and the winds of change sweeping across Africa. At Fort Hare, Mandela's world expanded. He met Oliver Tambo, who would become a lifelong friend and ally. Together, they grappled with the injustices of the world around them, and their shared passion for justice and equality led them to the African National Congress, or the ANC. The ANC became the platform for Mandela's political awakening. As a young firebrand lawyer, Mandela joined the ANC in the early 40s and quickly rose through the ranks. He became an instrumental figure in the organization, championing the cause of the oppressed and marginalized. In the 50s, Mandela played a pivotal role in the Defiance Campaign, a mass civil disobedience movement against unjust apartheid laws. The campaign was a turning point, marking a shift from polite petitioning to active resistance. Mandela's leadership in this campaign cemented his place as a key figure in the struggle against apartheid. But his activism was not without its consequences. His outspoken opposition to the apartheid regime made him a target. He faced harassment, surveillance, and arrests. Yet these challenges only fueled his determination to dismantle the oppressive system. While Mandela's early life was far removed from the political arena, his experiences and encounters shaped him into a formidable activist. His leadership in the ANC and the Defiance Campaign marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey against injustice. But as Mandela's political activism grew, so did the resistance of the apartheid government. In 1962, Mandela's struggle for freedom took a dramatic turn when he was arrested and sentenced to life imprisonment. This moment marked the beginning of a 27-year-long battle, fought not on the streets, but from within the cold, harsh walls of a prison cell. Mandela was incarcerated in Robben Island Prison, a place notorious for its brutal conditions. Here, he was given the prison number 46664, representing the year and order of his imprisonment. Despite the grueling physical labor and minimal food, Mandela refused to let the hardship break him. Instead, he used his time to further his education, earning a Bachelor of Laws degree through a correspondence program. But Mandela's imprisonment wasn't just a personal struggle. It was a pivotal point in South Africa's fight against apartheid. Mandela became a symbol of resilience and defiance, his name echoing through the country, inspiring millions to continue the fight for equality. From within his cell, Mandela continued his activism. He led a university behind bars where political discussions were held and prisoners educated each other. This was not just a fight for freedom. It was a fight for the mind, the spirit, and the future of a nation. Mandela's years in prison were also a period of self-reflection and growth. He once said, "In prison, you come face to face with time. There is nothing more terrifying." Yet, in grappling with time and solitude, Mandela found a deeper understanding of his mission. He honed his political strategies, developing the patience and wisdom that would later guide his presidency. His imprisonment also brought international attention to South Africa's oppressive regime. While Mandela was behind bars, the world was watching, and pressure was mounting for his release. Even from within the walls of a prison cell, Mandela's spirit remained unbroken, his message undimmed. His resilience under extreme adversity, his refusal to bow to injustice, and his commitment to his cause during those long 27 years laid the foundation for the transformation of South Africa. His story is a powerful reminder that even in the darkest places, the human spirit can shine the brightest. The year 1990 marked a turning point in South African history as Nelson Mandela walked out of prison a free man. After 27 long years of confinement, Mandela emerged not with a heart hardened by bitterness, but with a resolve strengthened by hope. His journey, however, was far from over. His newfound freedom marked the beginning of an arduous road towards reconciliation and change. Remember, South Africa during this period was a country deeply scarred by the wounds of apartheid. Racial segregation had left a chasm of inequality and mistrust. Mandela knew that the road to healing would be long and fraught with challenges. But he also knew that his people had waited far too long for justice and equality. He was ready to lead them towards a future free from the shackles of apartheid. Mandela's release from prison resulted in a groundswell of hope. He used this momentum to negotiate the end of apartheid, showing an incredible ability to unite people across racial lines. His vision was for a South Africa where all its citizens, regardless of color, enjoyed equal rights and opportunities. In 1994, Mandela's vision started to become a reality. South Africa held its first democratic elections, where citizens of all races were allowed to vote. And in a historic turn of events, Mandela was elected as the first black president of South Africa. His election symbolized a new era for the country, an era of hope, equality, and freedom. Mandela's presidency was characterized by his relentless pursuit of peace, reconciliation, and social justice. He worked tirelessly to dismantle the institutionalized racism that had plagued South Africa for decades, pushing for policies that promoted equality and economic growth. Through his leadership, Mandela showed the world that it was possible to rise above the ashes of a painful past and build a future anchored on the principles of justice and equality. Mandela, the freedom fighter, had become Mandela, the president, marking a new era for South Africa. Nelson Mandela's influence extended far beyond the borders of South Africa. This tireless warrior for justice and equality was not only a pivotal figure in his homeland, but also a global symbol of resistance against oppression. Mandela's global impact was profound. His relentless fight against apartheid, his unwavering commitment to equality, and his tireless advocacy for human rights reverberated around the globe. He inspired countless individuals to stand up against injustice, to champion the cause of the marginalized, the oppressed, and the downtrodden. His role in promoting peace and reconciliation was monumental. Mandela understood that true freedom was not just the absence of chains, but the presence of justice. He worked tirelessly to foster a culture of peace and reconciliation, not just in South Africa, but in the world at large. His message of forgiveness, even in the face of extreme adversity, resonated across the globe, providing a blueprint for conflict resolution and peace building. Mandela's influence on leaders and social movements worldwide is palpable. From civil rights activists in America to freedom fighters in the Middle East, from indigenous rights campaigners in Australia to democracy advocates in Asia, Mandela's life and work have inspired and guided many. His belief in the power of unity, his commitment to democracy, and his unwavering faith in the goodness of humanity have left an indelible imprint on the world. Mandela's legacy is not just about his fight against apartheid or his time as president. It's about his character, his resilience, his humanity. It's about his unwavering belief in the power of love over hate, of unity over division, of hope over despair. It's about his relentless pursuit of justice, his unyielding commitment to equality, and his tireless advocacy for human rights. Mandela's legacy is a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of resilience and the indomitable spirit of humanity. His life and work continue to inspire, to challenge, and to guide us in our quest for a better, more just, more equal world. Nelson Mandela's life was a journey of struggle, resilience, and ultimately, triumph. His early life, marked by activism, set the stage for a man who would not be deterred by the daunting face of oppression. His relentless pursuit for equality and justice led him along a path that many would fear to tread. Yet, Mandela walked it, head held high, confident in the righteousness of his cause. The 27 long years of his life spent in the confines of a prison cell were testament to his enduring spirit. It was a time that could have broken many, but for Mandela, it only strengthened his resolve. His resilience during these years is a shining beacon of hope for those fighting against injustice. Emerging from prison to become South Africa's first black president, Mandela's story elevated from that of an individual struggle to a symbol of national reconciliation. His presidency was not merely a political role, but a platform from which he could further his mission of dismantling the remnants of apartheid and fostering unity. Mandela's legacy extends far beyond the borders of South Africa, touching hearts and minds globally. His life and work continue to inspire millions around the world, reminding us of the power of perseverance, the importance of equality, and the transformative potential of forgiveness. And so, Nelson Mandela's story reminds us that one individual can indeed change the world, inspiring us all to strive for justice, freedom, and equality.